Washington Grown is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Agriculture's Specialty Crop Block Grant Program and Northwest Farm Credit Services, supporting agriculture and rural communities with reliable, consistent credit and financial services today and tomorrow.
Hi everyone, I'm Christy Goranson and welcome to Washington Grown. Nothing beats a view like this with Washington fries like these, but we're not the only ones who enjoy potatoes from this state. In this episode, we're going to learn why our international neighbors love the great Washington potato. We'll visit Marination in Seattle, where we'll be using local fries to make a dish worth crossing an ocean for. Our fries weren't good enough.
They will be now.
I'll learn about how our Washington potatoes are a favorite export for many of our international neighbors.
If you go into a restaurant in Tokyo or Seoul, chances are you might be eating a Washington French fry.
And then Tomas will tag along with a group of international chefs who are learning how to grow and cook with the great Washington potato.
I heard somebody else say that our potatoes are quite large. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah, this thing very bigger than my face.
All this and much more today on Washington Grown. We grow them big in Washington. You're like, I can put her to work.
Right now. Oh yeah. Are you getting tired already?
No,
Am I doing this right? It's like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory.
This is one of the hardest things I've ever done on this show. Cheers. Thanks for having us. Occupying a prime location along Alki Beach in Seattle is the Hawaiian Korean-inspired restaurant Marination. With a gorgeous beachside restaurant and multiple locations, they deliver daily aloha to residents of Seattle.
Well, it's like right on the water, so it's quite the treat, but it's like pretty relaxed and accessible. Like you can bring your kids here and people don't bat an eye at it.
It's quiet, it's fun, good food.
And there's boats coming and kayakers and all kinds of activity happening outside, so it's really fun.
Try to bring some of that aloha spirit and hospitality here, and that's always going to be one that's incredibly warm, inviting, and laid back.
Co-owner and chef Kamala was inspired to create Marination by her family's Hawaiian and Korean background.
Now, lots of people are spam-prehensive. There is no need to be
Spam-prehensive.
spam-prehensive. In Hawaii, we love spam. We've embraced it.
I bet your spam tacos are amazing.
I got 3 things of spam. Spam macaroni salad and a spam slider and a spam musubi.
I never thought I would eat spam, but it's delicious. I made fun of the food for a long time, but yeah, it's really tasty.
Kamala also loves to use Washington-grown foods in her cooking, especially potatoes.
We go through more potatoes than I ever imagined we'd ever do. It absolutely affects how things taste. It also, when people talk about cooking with love, for us, it is cooking with love to use local ingredients and local vendors and local producers and farmers.
Later in the show, Chef Kamala and I will be cooking up her Aloha fries. You'll definitely be wanting to say mahalo for this recipe.
That's perfect.
Yes.
That's perfect.
Have you ever wondered how food gets traded to countries around the world? Ryan Perry and Washington State Department of Agriculture's International Marketing Program help farmers and businesses export food internationally. They do this by answering questions, tracking foreign trade requirements, solving issues with customs, training businesses, creating trade plans, and more.
We really serve as a resource to help them with whatever export question they have. And a lot of people think that only big businesses can export, but frankly, we work with a lot of small to medium-sized businesses.
WSDA works with all food and agriculture businesses and advocates for groups like the Washington Apple and Potato Commissions.
We really try to work with our industry to advocate for alleviating trade barriers and reducing tariffs and any type of restriction on trade.
With trade made possible by WSDA, some Washington foods are even famous around the world.
When we go overseas, oftentimes they don't know where Washington is. but they know of Washington apples. Washington potatoes are known for their quality, so their consistency and their flavor. People are looking for that. French fries are huge overseas. French fries are always one of our top export products from Washington State, one of our top agricultural exports. If you go into a restaurant in Tokyo or Seoul, chances are you might be eating a Washington French fry.
What is it about, Washington products that seem to attract the international markets?
So it's definitely our quality, and it really goes back to the consumer. They want the quality. They also want to know that their product is safe. That's an issue in other countries that we take for granted. They know that products from the US are going to be safe. They can feed their children safe products. They don't have to worry about that. So consumers in other markets look for products from the US and from Washington State to make sure that they're getting that quality and that safe product.
Why is it important for, the people of Washington, the consumers, to have, our produce and our items, going off around the world?
Well, there are significant economic returns back to our state. Washington State is extremely dependent on trade. Up to 40% of all jobs in Washington State are tied to international trade. So when farmers are exporting their products overseas, that financial benefit is being returned back to the farmers and then back to their communities where they're purchasing equipment and spending it locally.
So whatever the Washington-grown product, WSDA is making sure that Washington food goes international. Today, Tomas is in Plymouth, where he's learning about a reverse trade mission put on by Potatoes USA.
I'm here in Plymouth, the heart of potato country, and here we're waiting for over 40 international chefs who are about to learn a little something about our awesome Washington potato. Let's go check it out. The chefs are arriving to their first stop, the Agri Northwest office. Here they're learning about the process and technology involved in growing high-quality Washington potatoes. Next, the chefs grab a vest and hard hat and head out to the fields. First, we're at the potato seed cutter, where the chefs can see how the seed potatoes are cut into smaller pieces, perfect for planting. Now, while the chefs observe the cutting process, I talk with RJ Harvey from Potatoes USA to learn a bit more about the purpose of this reverse trade mission program.
You get the passion from the farmers, right? You understand where that food comes from. Then you see it being processed into something that is more familiar to you. And then they get to go into the kitchen on Friday, roll their sleeves up, and get to use the knowledge and experience that they've had throughout the entire week and do some potato innovation with us. And what's great about that is all of them have different culinary backgrounds from different countries from all around the world. They're bringing things to the table that American chefs simply just don't have the knowledge of.
Right.
So what that does for us is it drives us to showcase how U.S. potatoes are used in different ways, all formats, all varieties, and all preparation. And that really does help us with increasing our export of our crop, but also driving the demand for U.S. potatoes right here at home.
Now it's time for the chefs to head out to the fields to see the seed potatoes be planted. I tag along and chat with Mike Madsen from the Washington Potato Commission about why our Washington potatoes are so great. There's a lot of people here. There's something special happening here today, isn't there?
Yes, we have 43 chefs from around the world who come to view the potato production cycle.
Okay, so there's 43 chefs here. What are you hoping they're going to learn?
We're going to teach them about the high quality of Washington potatoes, safety of Washington potatoes, the sustainability of Washington potatoes, and the reliability of the supply of Washington potatoes.
So they're from all over the world. How important is the international markets when it comes to Washington potatoes?
Big.
How big?
Big. 70% of all the potatoes that Washington grows are exported out of the state.
70%?
70%.
As the farm tour winds down, I chat with a few chefs to see what they learned about Washington potatoes. So in South Korea, do they grow potatoes?
Yeah, we also grow the potato, but not that much big size.
Really?
Yeah.
How big are the South Korean potatoes?
Like this size.
Okay.
Like medium.
And then these guys are all.
Yeah, it's like giant, huge.
Somebody else say that our potatoes are quite large. Is that true?
Yes. They're very big. Bigger than my face.
So in Vietnam, they're not that big?
No.
We have farms in the Philippines, but not this size, And then how the potatoes from farm to plate, it's pretty interesting and high tech.
When you think in potatoes, you think just when they are served in a plate. but you don't imagine what is behind of that plate. I mean, this is a lot of work, a lot of process. You never imagine all the work that the people do to have potatoes.
Later in the show, I'll be catching up with the chefs in the kitchen, where they'll be challenged to make a dish using Washington potatoes.
What percent of a 5.2 ounce potato meets your daily requirements in vitamin C? Answer after the break.
Coming up, I'll be in the kitchen saying aloha to Marination's signature dish, Aloha fries.
Just keeps getting better and better and better.
And we'll be in the Second Harvest kitchen trying out a viewer's hash brown recipe that her family can't get enough of.
And the answer is 30% of your daily intake requirements of vitamin C.
We're back to Alki Beach at the restaurant Marination. This beachside restaurant is just one of 4 locations in Seattle, and people love the variety of Hawaiian, Korean-inspired cuisine.
Well, it's like right on the water, so it's quite the treat, but it's like pretty relaxed and accessible. Like you can bring your kids here and people don't bat an eye at it.
I got a kimchi fried rice with a sunny side egg on top. The sunny side egg is probably the best I've had. It's actually like, there's no runny whites, you know, it's cooked really well. With some of their sexy tofu. It's really good, actually.
Because vegetarians need something special.
Co-owner and chef Kamala is inspired to make these fun and creative dishes. To do this, she uses many Washington-grown foods in her cooking.
It's a source of pride for us to use as many local ingredients as possible here.
Kamala and her team use more potatoes than they could have ever imagined.
Then we decided to double fry them, so it's like doubling the amount of potatoes that we use.
So what are we gonna make today?
We're gonna make this dish called Aloha fries, and it's unique to this location with this background here. We do fries at this location, and we probably will sell about 200 of these orders today of Aloha fries.
Gosh.
So we'll start off, number one will happen with us.
I love it, can't wait.
The Aloha fries start with our fries. The first process, we double fry them. So we start with blanching them. We use Washington State potatoes.
Of course.
To start the Aloha fries, Chef Kamala double blanches the fries to get a nice crispy texture. Next, we cover pork in garlic, ginger, bay leaves, and liquid smoke cure.
This is gorgeous.
This is a traditional dish in Hawaii called kalua pork.
Then we cover it in Hawaiian sea salt.
Use a really healthy amount of Hawaiian sea salt here.
The banana leaves, what do they do?
The banana leaves add flavor and they keep in a lot of the moisture. In Hawaii, people use banana leaves or tea leaves.
We wrap the pork in banana leaves and slow roast it in the oven at 250 degrees for 4 to 5 hours. Next, we grab our fries and put them in a tray to be the base of the dish.
We have the base down. Now we're going to add our kalua pork.
Kamala also uses kalua pork for many different dishes at Marination.
We use it for the Aloha fries. We use it for our Aloha sliders on a Hawaiian sweet roll.
Next, we pull apart the kalua pork.
See how tender this
gets?
gets?
Oh, it smells.
Yep, so we'll just pull this apart here. It's going to go on our fries here. So
if our fries weren't good enough,
they will be now.
We top our double blanched fries with the pork and then add kimchi sauce and a sweet Japanese mayo.
That's perfect.
Yes.
That's perfect. All right.
We then add green onions for some color and freshness and bring the Hawaiian sun to Washington with a sunny side up fried egg.
Just keeps getting better and better and better.
Finally, we sprinkle it with Japanese seaweed.
How did this come about, this dish?
This is actually, in all restaurants, there's what's called a staff meal, a family meal.
Yeah.
This is a staff meal, a family meal created by one of our employees, one of our longtime employees.
My taste buds are ready to say aloha to this dish.
So I like to take a fry and then use it to break up this yolk here. So my favorite bite is the yolk, the kimchi mayo, or the kimchi plus mayo. Little green onion there, furikake.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. The bite with the kalua pork.
I need some of that.
Our potatoes.
This is unbelievable.
And you see that the fries still, even with sauce on it, they're still really crispy, which is why we
They need to hold up, don't they?
The kimchi sauce it's the juice from kimchi that we have and a bunch of other spices ingredients that go into this sauce. You certainly can try to substitute the kimchi. This is a pretty complicated sauce that we make, but sriracha might work.
So we say mahalo?
And aloha.
And aloha.
Yep.
To get the recipe for Marination's Aloha fries, visit wagrown.com.
Whoever thought that the humble potato could connect us all throughout the world? Potatoes are the globe's third most important food crop and can be found in many different cultural cuisines. About 1/3 of all U.S. potato exports are from Washington State. A majority of those are frozen French fries, potato chips, and other potato products. So if you're dining abroad, chances are you're eating a Washington-grown potato. But even right here at home, potatoes are great eaten every which way. Let's talk with Ralph at the produce market to get a tuber tip.
The best way to store russet potatoes is in a dark, cool location where there's good ventilation.
Potatoes are very complex, and they're much healthier than many believe them to be. Potatoes are an excellent source of protein, fiber, potassium, vitamin C, and they're low in calories. With all of these nutritional benefits, it's no wonder why the world's favorite potato is a Washington potato.
Coming up, Tomas will check back in with the international chefs at their Washington Potato Cook-Off.
Is this going to be different now that you're going to be using a Washington potato?
Much better.
Hey, let's go. The potato is one of the greatest travelers of our time, and we're gonna follow that potato to Morocco. We're actually here in Bothell, where our friends at the Shawaya Authentic Moroccan Barbecue are serving up some samosas created with Washington potatoes that are sure to knock your socks off. Let's check it out. All right, so Mubarak?
Yes.
Now you are cooking up some Moroccan cuisine, correct?
Yes.
So what makes something Moroccan? What's that kind of one special ingredient that says, oh, this is a Moroccan dish?
Me. If I'm not cooking, it's not Moroccan.
Well, that's good to know. So the potatoes grown here in Washington, they go all over the world. So how specifically are you using Washington potatoes?
We use them in our samosas.
Okay, and what's a samosa?
Samosa is basically, it's like an egg roll, but it's in a triangle shape, and we fill them with peas, carrots, and Washington potatoes.
So this is it, right?
This is it, yes.
Okay. It's different. It's not something that I usually have, but it's good.
But it's something you can eat.
Mm-hmm. It's not too hot.
Yeah.
The samosas are served with 3 dipping sauces: avocado hummus, Greek yogurt, and spicy eggplant. That's delicious.
I put the eggplant now.
Ooh, now that's got a nice punch.
That's spicy.
That's the bite. I like that. Well, thank you so much, and let's see what everybody else thinks about these. Well, I'm gonna have you try one of these samosas that are right here from Shawaya. She goes right for the spicy. That a girl.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
It's got a spice I can't identify.
And the inside is creamy and flavorful. I love avocado, so I can eat this all day.
I have never tasted anything like that. That's really good.
The spice is kicking in on that one. So then going back, I like that one, yeah.
It's really tasty.
But that's a new way now for you to look at potatoes.
I love it.
At the beginning of the week, 42 international chefs arrived, and all week long they've been learning about the awesome Washington potato. Well, now here's the culmination of that week, where all these chefs are cooking with our very own Washington potato. Let's check it out. The chefs are being challenged to create a unique dish using different forms of potatoes, such as dehydrated and frozen, which many of them have not worked with before.
The thing that I've learned the most, that impressed me the most, is the dehydrated potato, which is what I'm going to be using today to cook. I never thought it could be used in so many, let's say, techniques,
right?
And not thinking of just like fast food or cafeteria.
Gotcha.
Which impressed me a lot.
They're so used to working with the fresh produce, so they were not so familiar with using frozen potatoes or dehydrated potatoes.
Gotcha.
So it was an eye-awakening opportunity for them to see that those processed products are actually made from fresh, top-quality U.S. raw potatoes.
So now people from Mexico knows that dehydrated potatoes comes from real potato.
Right, like the dehydrated potatoes that are, gotcha, understood.
So that the potatoes don't lose the nutrition benefits.
Sanbei.
Sanbei, and so that's a traditional Taiwanese dish? Yes. Is this going to be different now that you're going to be using a Washington potato?
Yes.
Is it going to be better?
Much better.
So would you give Washington potatoes your seal of approval? You like them?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, very much.
Awesome,
very much.
Thank you. Get to work.
Okay.
So do you have a greater appreciation for potatoes now that you're going back to Mexico?
Yes, of course. So we will try to convey messages that potatoes are very good for daily basis.
Especially the Washington ones, right?
Washington potatoes.
Tomas and I are at the kitchen at Second Harvest, and we're joined by Laurent Serrati, chef and owner of Flora de Sal Restaurant and Creperie, and we are honored to be able to test some recipes that were sent in by you, the viewer. And today we're talking about potatoes, so that's the ingredient, and we're talking about processed potatoes. And that, you don't want to scare people away by saying processed potatoes. That just means
French fries.
That, or tater tots, or they've been taken straight from the field, straight to a production facility, and either frozen, cut up, whatever, packaged,
hash browns.
And so they are the freshest of the fresh that you can get if you're just,
what
eating it straight out of the field.
What a big region to grow potatoes, second largest growing region state.
It's amazing. And we feed so many people around the world with Washington potatoes, and that's something to be proud of.
And it's growing all the time. I had the opportunity to go to Seattle and see some international chefs take our potatoes and figure out their dishes that they could make to take back home. Which is really neat. So they're coming here to learn about Washington and to take Washington with them.
And were they using packaged potatoes?
Yes, that was kind of the challenge, if you will. And to see chefs from El Salvador and South Korea and just everywhere putting their twist on it was a lot of fun.
I like that. I had a challenge myself with on a TV show with some hash browns, and I'm sure they were coming from Washington because it got me lucky. So that was good.
That's right. You moved on in the competition with that. That's really cool. So today we get to taste Patty's recipe for hash brown casserole. Okay.
Casserole. That's a French word.
A lot of hash brown. Yes. So how would you? Hash brown casserole.
Yes, casserole of hash brown. All right, well.
So it sounds good. So we're going to see first how it's made. hot and bubbly and cheesy.
You can't go wrong with that much cheese, right?
Cheese is good. Cheese is your friend, especially with potatoes.
So
let's try that.
Let's see, Patty, she said that they were on a trip
Wow.
like from Minnesota someplace, and they went to a restaurant that had a casserole like this, so they recreated it.
That's my new favorite, casserole. I'm gonna put casserole everywhere on the menu.
That is super cheesy. And this is not exactly something you find on the light menu, but it is hearty.
But this is comfort food.
Yes, this is comfort food.
For the winter, even for a brunch.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Then you go back to bed.
Then you can take a nap.
Yeah, but
and
it's
come back for
perfect.
seconds.
Oh,
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah, I love
Great
that
way to-
cheddar and what else?
There's some sour cream in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the crunchiness of the potatoes are good. You know, it gives some texture again. You have some creamy and some texture of the hash brown.
And Laurent, now you know what a casserole is in America.
Now I know.
So you put a bunch of stuff into a pan and bake it.
Oh, that's a casserole.
And if you want to take something to a potluck to really impress your friends, right here.
Thank,
a good
thank
idea.
Patty.
Thanks, Patty.
To get Patty's recipe for hash brown casserole, visit wagrown.com.
Whether you're from Seattle or Singapore, people all over the world love Washington potatoes. That's it for this episode of Washington Grown. Thanks for watching.